Welcome back. This is William Steele, Steele Spotlight Television, now Public Relations, and William Steele True Crime. And the true crime is homelessness and people that are coming out of prison and can't find a place to live. I mean, these are crimes going on in society. If you look at it, crimes against humanity, if so to speak. So once again, let me reintroduce to you Dr. Rod. Dr. Rod is a rheumatologist. I'll let you tell you more about himself. He is a mentor to many of the guys over in Changing Lives, and he's standing by here on camera. He's a little nervous about doing interviews. He hasn't done many, and he doesn't realize he has a zipper open. So he's going to have to fix that. And so there you go. I got him to smile. So here we go, Dr. Rod from Changing Lives, and tell us about yourself.
Well, first, thanks for having me and taking this opportunity to be involved in this. As I said, I'm not, an expert at the social media end, but I think this is definitely a story that needs to get out. People need to be more aware of homelessness and the challenges these folks are up against. And I kind of got an interest in this homelessness in my office up in Titusville, Florida. I'm right by railroad tracks over there, and so we get some homeless people. It's right along the Indian River. We're just a block or two away from US 1, so a lot of the folks are traveling back and forth and kind of use the railroad tracks there as a passageway. So several years back, there was a gentleman named Jerry, older homeless guy, who we had a park bench sitting out in front of our office, and he would go there at nights to get out of the rain and have a place to sleep. And I'd pull up early, before patients, and Jerry would be out there, and he'd have all his stuff, and he's a nice enough guy, and just kind of struck up a conversation with him, and got to know him a bit and his story, and he really wanted to just kind of set something up in the back of our building there, and put a tent, and he was all content with just hanging out there. And I tried to work with him, let him know, like, this is my medical practice. I've got staff coming in, and everybody's right away, homeless person, it's like they get sort of put off and distance themselves, thinking like, oh, this guy's gonna cause trouble or whatever. But Jerry was like a really harmless guy, very intelligent, great conversationalist. He actually worked at the power plant. He was a vet. He was chain smoker. He had some serious lung problems, and one time he had a shoulder problem. His shoulder was hurt, and I said, "Hey, come into the office." I gave him a cortisone shot, and tried to help him out there. But he just was a bit of a kind of antisocial. I think his thing wasn't drugs or alcohol. It's just he just had trouble maybe relating to society and sort of falling into all the rules. And he did have some resources. He gets some money that he had from his retirement, whatever, but probably maybe not enough to actually get housing, permanent housing. But and getting to know him and trying to help him out, I talked to him about, like, well, his housing situation, and he was a vet, so there were some resources available for him in the area to get some housing with the VA. But and I said, hey, if it's a couple $100, whatever, some money that he needed to get settled in there, I was willing to help him. But he just seemed to be okay with being out there sort of on the street, which again, you're dealing with not only the drugs and alcohol, but the mental health issues and lack of support. A lot of these folks don't have family, or their families passed away, or they're alienated from their family, so they're kind of out there on their own. He had sort of the homeless community that he hung out with, but even that, for him, he said, yeah, a lot of those folks are into drugs, alcohol. He goes, that's not my thing. And so he was just kind of out there doing it on his own. But it's just a sad story. He's just one individual. He probably could get help, but for whatever reason, he seemed to be okay out on the street. But there's so many others that you run into now that I realize, being part of this organization, Changing Lives, that there are a lot of people that want help, but for various reasons, they've just gotten down and out and one thing after the other just seems to affect them. Something gets stolen, their ID stolen, then they lose their phone, their wallet's gone with their money, and one thing after the other. And then if they're struggling with a drug or alcohol problem or mental health issue, then that all just compounds, and then it can end up something with the law, an arrest, and then jail time, and it just goes downhill. And at the end of that, then they're just kind of, let out, what I'm seeing, which is really appalling. I mean, it's just really a shock to me, thinking, well, after serving time, after, doing what society wants of you, then they just throw you out. Seems like so many of these folks just get thrown right out. They don't, they don't have their ID, no driver's license, no funds for any kind of housing. Just the other day, a guy was trying to help, get out of prison, and he had his medications that he had to pick up, and he thought he had a prescription that they sent in, and turns out it was just his med list. There was no prescription, nothing. So we're going to the CVS, thinking we're going to pick up the guy's medicine. One of his drugs was like $350. How's he gonna pay for that, right?
So here you are, a doctor trying to help people. You obviously have a heart to serve and help people. You're a man of faith, evidently. And so your faith is very, very important to you. And here you are going to your practice, and you stumble across something that's outside of your everyday dealings, where on your property of your medical practice is a homeless guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've shared some of that story. Tell us a little bit how you even became a doctor to begin with. And then now that you gave us that, go back a little further. What made you want to become a doctor, and what does your faith mean to you, and how did you come in contact with changing lives? Because we have somebody you've been working with, a guy named Spirit, who's become a dear friend of mine. He is a mini me. This guy here, this Spirit, so this is William Steele, from inmate to roommate, and Spirit's sitting behind this camera right now. And he's been working with Dr. Rod here, I think, for a few months or a year at least. I don't know the exact time periods, but what a friend these guys have had, have extended themselves. Mike as well. Mike, the other
Mike
guy.
Cheeks.
Mike Cheeks, okay. So we are involved to some degree with changing lives, especially Spirit and Dr. Rod here. Myself, they just put me down as a mentor the other day, so I guess they're going to give me some idea what I need to do to try to reach back and help other people that are struggling, because I've been clean, I don't know, over 20 years. I just had a coke thing like this I was doing, and I didn't touch anything else, but I got way over my head, and I ended up incarcerated more than once. I did a lot of time. I did 18 years for nonviolent crimes. We're going to go back to Dr. Rod. He's going to tell us how he became involved in helping homeless people. And again, one of the biggest groups of homeless people are people who have been incarcerated and are struggling to get on their feet. I'm the rare exception where I'm kind of scrambling to make it still, but he's going to go and tell you more about himself, and then we'll move into more about myself and Spirit in a minute.
So, yeah, great question, William. I think it's just like, I think God puts something in your heart, puts people in your life, and I think it's, Jerry, this individual, that was probably the start of it. And we talked about spiritual things, we talked about scripture, and I gave him a Bible and everything, and a lot of folks, I mean, they have a great heart, very spiritual. They do have faith, and they're really rely a lot on their faith, because what's left for a lot of them, right? They don't have anything else to turn to. But so we're members of First United Methodist here in Boca, and they provide some space for changing lives. On Saturdays, they open up their gym and have like a mission there for the folks at Changing Lives to provide a breakfast meal and a lunch, and they give a message, a scriptural message. It's a Christian-based organization, and they have a really great pastor, Pastor Charles. He's very animated and definitely,
Animated.
He's been there, done that. He's got his story, so he can relate to these folks. They can relate to him, and he's got, definitely got a heart to help folks. So, I'm semi-retired down here, basically over the weekends, 4 days a week, and so we got involved with the church, and this organization changing lives. And it's just been a real eye-opener and definitely a God thing. And I think I've gotten more out of it than I've given to any of these guys,
You seem like not only you're a doctor, but now you're involved with helping the homeless and people struggling with mental illness, addiction, get them off the street, mentoring them. In other words, you're probably a phone call away for these guys, or have to give them a ride to get their driver's license, or help them, engage with social services and a vehicle. And Mr. Batmasian is, he puts it out there publicly, so there's no harm in me saying it. He's one of the wealthiest people in the United States. And Mr. Batmasian is head of Investments Limited in Boca Raton. And I probably am exaggerating by saying he owns half of this town, but he probably owns half of this town. So he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. I am as well. And so he and I are connecting at a level where we're kind of, I guess in my case, maybe testing boundaries, even though I don't mean to, because I'm distrusting as well. So I always feel everybody's got an ulterior motive. Everybody in my life's always screwed me over. So, and I'm the kind of person that would give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you everything. And spirit comes from that same place, because I'm not going to say half of what he's done since my fiance and I have been in this town. But he's awesome. He's the real deal. He's trying to change his ways. And he's got Dr. Rod here really to thank his guidance, and of course our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who I'm not afraid of proclaiming. So, a man of faith right here sitting, blessed me to be a guest. He's going to come on again and tell us some more probably next week. I do have a question for him, a very, very important question for you. So I'd like you to add anything else you'd like to add about changing lives or about spirit. How did you come to meet spirit first, and then let me get to a question?
So this is kind of the way this organization works. I mean, I get a call from Pastor Charles. Hey, I showed up at this event on a Saturday, and hey, what do you want me to do? And the guy that was there, Jerry, said, well, we need somebody to take out the trash. I'm like, okay, I'll take out the trash. So went into the bathroom, the men's bathroom there where they do their showers, and he said, yeah, all those stinky clothes sitting in there, you just take them, put them in a bag, and throw it out. So I'm kind of doing that, cleaning up the bathroom, kind of got started with that, and I'm thinking, what the am I getting into here? It's like, it's not exactly what I was thinking about doing. It was like cleaning the bathrooms and collecting all the dirty laundry. But it's like, what? It's like, I got to start somewhere. I got to figure out what my niche is, right?
They were testing your heart to serve, probably.
Yeah, yes, it was. But hey, I'll do anything. I mean, I do it in my office. I pick up the garbage. I mean, I go out and pull weeds, whatever it takes, right? I mean, that's what you got to do to try to get a business or successful like you're doing, right. William. You do what it takes.
Do what it takes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. And so, and Spirit here, I mean, he's got that kind of heart in him, and he's making it and starting his business, couple businesses. He's got more businesses than I can keep track of. So. It starts with that, but then I get a call, hey, do you want a mentor? We'll show up on a Friday when they meet, and so I go in there, and it's a crazy, crowded environment. I mean, William can tell you, it's all these folks coming in off the street. You got Mr. Batmasian there at the head of the table, with his notepad, and he's writing down things, giving away a bike here, or a bus ticket there, or whatever, and they just... Guys come in off the street and they ask open-end question, hey, what can we do for you? What can you need? What do you need? So Spirit, had come back in there into the fold, and he didn't have a mentor, so they said, hey, Dr. Rod, do you want to be Spirit's mentor? And I look at Spirit, he looks at me, and he's probably thinking, here comes another middle-aged white dude, do-gooder, he's going to try to come in and try to help me out, whatever. And then the way they do it is like, well, go talk to Spirit outside, outside the room where all this chaos is going. And so then we're just kind of having a little conversation, trying to figure out where he's coming from.
He's looking at you like, what you talking about?
He's like, what, what you gonna do for me, bro? Right? Like, you want to talk to, like another one that's going to talk the talk, but not walk the walk. So I just tried to be there for Spirit, hear him out. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just to get to know these folks, listen to their story. And that's a lot of what they want. They just want somebody to know, listen to them. And then with Spirit, I could see he's definitely animated. The guy's ambitious. He's really interested in doing car detailing. And I see him out there, and he's like, got a bucket of water with a sponge and some soap. And, I talked to him some more outside of Wendy's. He goes, I got started. I just go, they come up to the drive-through window. I just start washing their car. And some of them say, blankety blank blank, get away from my car. But then some of them, they're like, hey, you know, you did a great job, and you know, he'd get $10 here, $20 there. But that's the kind of hustler he is. I mean, he's like doing hustle. So I'm seeing him out there. So he's washing my car, so we get started with that. But he's out there still on the street. He's homeless, right? I mean, and they try to do what the organization try to hook him up, but a lot of times there's some money up front. They got to have a job already. And, you know, Spirit's trying to make it happen, but he's sitting out there sweating like crazy. It's, you know, Boca, 80, 90 degrees. He's out in the sun trying to do this. So it's like, you know, dude, we got to get you into a place. So, you know, we put him up. I helped put him up at the hotel over here, and he was there for not too long at all. And then he got on his feet, hooked up, you know, with some maintenance work with this organization, along with his car detail. And he keeps getting new clients, repeat business. He is doing my car. He's doing cars for folks that are over there with this organization. But the thing about Spirit is, you know, we go to Costco, do a little shopping, and, you know, he starts sparking up a conversation with two older ladies just coming in there with their grocery cart. And,
Hello, beautiful.
you know, he's like chit-chatting with them all the way through Costco, all the way to the checkout. And, you know, I mean, I'm a pretty quiet guy. I'm, you know, kind of introverted. I don't, like, really reach out. And, I mean, this guy, like, he's already, like, hooked up with 4 or 5 people in the store. He's just talking to everybody. And all the way through the store, through the checkout, out in the parking lot, he's out, you know, best friends with the 2 ladies. You know, so I'm like, but that's the way this guy is.
That's how I am, too.
No matter where you walk into with this guy, man, he just knows how to connect to people.
Yes,
right?
he does.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm not the one that's going to necessarily go out, and I don't know. I mean, I don't have like a line or you know, spiel to give people. You know, I just try to, you know, do what I can do, right, and with patience and take care of them the best I can. And so, but yeah, Spirit, that's, the name's, you know, not there for nothing, right? I mean, there's something behind it.
It fits.
Yeah, so
He's a
for
ball,
sure.
ball of energy. He's a one-man PR machine. That's what my girl said. He's a one-man PR machine. I have a reality show with tens of millions of fans, and I'm engaging on social media and everything else. And some of it I'm just learning how to work, other things people are teaching me, and things are starting to take off. He's on there putting me on his stuff like he's doing right now. Hello. And things are like exploding like a whole different way, and he's telling people about me here in Boca. I'm originally from down here, New York City, Brooklyn, and then Boca. And so I know the struggle. You know, last time I wasn't in trouble just one time. I was in trouble multiple times. Spirit was incarcerated. I was incarcerated. It wasn't my first rodeo. The difference is my mother was mentally ill. My sister stole a bunch of money from me when I was incarcerated, inheritance, and I got out like with nothing this time. So I didn't have this thing like, oh, let me hit the ground running, doing illegal things all over again. And that would have been the easy thing, going back and fall into Satan's trap, you know, and starting to do all this nonsense again. My thing was, I'm staying clean at any expense. I started writing books, testimony. I took college courses, university courses. Tom Madden, who we just met, president of Transmedia Group Public Relations, he is the one who actually paid for one of my college courses when I was in prison. Wow. He is the one that's given me a lot of opportunity here in Boca. He doesn't know much about the real estate and you know the angles on that. That's more changing lives or whatever I could find on my own. But a lot of people believed in me, and I cleaned up everything from my past. I'm sure you did too. You cut off a lot from your past, and sometimes we have to do that. It's painful, and we want the best for many of those people. We pray for them, but we cannot continue to associate with people that are going to bring us down. So we're going to bring Spirit on here in a minute, and I want everybody to meet Spirit. You can look him up. I'm going to tell him he can put his social media. He is my, no, you guys, you're going to sit down. You're going to stay.
I got a hug, I got a What's up, bud?
Rod, you can stay in the seat, and he's going to come up beside you there. There you go.
So what's up, my name's Spirit. I'm with a program called Changing Lives. Did a lot of time in prison, 7 years, been in prison 5 times. So what these guys believe in is stability is key to any growth. Separation and stability. So they have a motto called the caterpillar motto. It says a caterpillar, once he realizes that transformation from God is already happening, he'll leave the group of caterpillars and turn into a butterfly. But he won't go back and chill with no caterpillar. He won't do that. So I see that now. Like I changed the people first, my friends, the places. I got housing in a good area. I stay on the beach. And the things I did. So I didn't hang out anymore. I worked. So I'm starting this podcast, and I'm hosting it, and I'm struggling to do it. No equipment. But I'm a hustler. And I'm trying to make it work for my friends, for my family. I got 3 little girls, Serenity, Faith, and Hope. Shout out to Mike Cheeks and everybody. I love y'all. Spirit.
So there goes Spirit. Now, this guy here has become a good friend of mine, and again, he's like reminds me of me 20 years ago. On this Bigo app, I'm new to it. I think I'm already on there under William Steele. If you guys want to check me out, William Steele, A&E reality TV star. Look, I say that like with a smile on my face because I'm humbled by all the fan love, outpouring of love. Because when you're in prison, you think everybody hates you. I did 18 years for nonviolent crime, and the world turned their back. My own family stole from me what I was supposed to have upon release, $800,000. So I came out destitute and like, okay, I know how to do the wrong thing, but I made a decision to turn my life around, and with God's help, I'm going to try and continue to do the right thing and try to help people. But you guys want to follow me on this app, I do believe I'm on here. I might have taken it off my phone, but Spirit, of course, encouraged me to put it back on my phone.
Tighten up.
So check me out on Bigo, say hello, or go to my YouTube channel, official
William Steele.
William Steele True Crime on YouTube, subscribe, or find me on Facebook. You guys can find me on Facebook at official William Steele. And we're going to get back to Dr. Rod here. He's the man of the hour. So we
Pretty boring story compared to you guys.
No, definitely not.
Well, you bring something pivotal to the table. You're a normal, stable, law-abiding citizen. I don't know if you had any brushes with the laws, if there's anything you might want to talk about, but you bring a good perspective, and from the point of view of an educated man, a successful doctor, a compassionate man, and to guys like us, it's like, wow, I never thought there was nice people in the world. The life we live, we thought the whole world was this big, cruel place. And really, we were the ones being the big, cruel idiots for the way we were living.
Right.
So I recognize that now. If there's good people out there, I just read some of my comments on my fan pages. I'm moved to tears. So God bless every one of you. Rod, do you have anything you want to add? And then I'm going to get to this question. It's not a gotcha question at all. But it's a good one.
I think, what I've experienced with this is it's a community. I mean, it's more than a volunteer job or, anything like that. It's not even a church thing that you feel like you're doing some, great thing for God or church. But, and of course, he's uses us where he feels we can, if you're listening, and I think that's, basically responding to him directing you in one way or the other. But I think it's just, this is like a big family now. I mean, it's with all these folks, the other volunteers and folks like Spirit and my other mentees. I mean, I got to know them, and they're just like family to me, and there's just a lot of love there, and we're all people.
How's your family and your wife support what you're doing? They're like, oh, that's
No.
nice, but be careful.
Well, my wife thinks it's great,
God bless her.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't think going to the gym or any of that sexy, but she says, changing lives and volunteering and putting the dishes in the dishwasher, that's her love language, right? So, wife's definitely supportive, I think my mother, she's 93, she lives here in Boca in a retirement community, and, I'd always be out there visiting her, so I think she's a little jealous, because I'm spending all this time with these guys, but I think, when she's heard their stories and kind of gotten to know them from what, my experience with them, then, she can understand it too. But I think that's what society needs to learn to understand and know. These people aren't just out there because they're lazy or, they just, don't want to go to work or whatever. I mean, they got some real struggles, whether that's mental health, drug addiction, a record, and they just need society. People come in there and just, accept them, love them, do something for them, try to put a roof over their house, give them something, give them a job, give them a second chance.
Now, I will say something. When people have certain skills to break the law, whether it's stealing or dealing or whatever they were doing, it's so easy to go back to that lifestyle. And if there's nobody in to guide you, and a lot of times going back to your family is where the problem started. So sometimes so my show, Inmate to Roommate, talks about recidivism and how lack of adequate housing upon release leads to people going back to prison. Big word, recidivism. So this changing lives, they recognize that people have done time, and a lot of people who are homeless, It's because they got out of prison, there's no support system in place for them. They send them, in this state anyway, they send them out with $100. That's it. You know, and then it's gone like your first day, you know, getting a meal and maybe a change of clothes. Maybe a thrift store might give you a few free things, but it's very rare. Then what? You sleep on the street, and then out of desperation, guys go and break the law again and again. And then out of hurt, heartache, and pain and ways to cope, they self-medicate with cocaine. Excuse me, I don't want to say drug names on the air, but they self-medicate with various drugs. In my case, that was it. So for the algorithms, we're talking about ways to help people here, redemption, recovery from substance abuse. So that's why that word came out of my mouth. So, but we try to be careful how we address things because I'm on multiple platforms. But the world is woken up. The kids know what's going on even. There has to be solutions. And I would say also with what Mr. Batmasian's doing, God bless him, he has put his life effort and his retirement, well not his retirement, but his older years, you know, into this ministry that's really helping get the homeless a place to go, get them an education, treatment. He puts them in the treatment program, he gets them into one of his hotels for a while, gets them on their feet. I understand if they do well after a while, there's loans for cars and maybe some other things. He puts his money where his mouth is, you know, but there's gotta be some proof, there's gotta be some action on the person's part that they really wanna change and they're trying. So it's not like a freebie, a free ride for anybody, but it's very gracious. I was at several meetings already, and some of the ones where the people that are in, you know, in that kind of program attend was a little kind of wild. It was a lot of arguing going on and stuff like that, and nobody got kicked out, and if they did, they came back in 5 minutes later, and they were accepted right back in. So it's a lot of forgiveness, it's treated like a family, and a lot of patience with people who are, for the normal society, maybe a little hard to handle.
Right.
So society, especially this state, Florida, had the bright idea to put the homeless in jail. Recently, it comes out October 1st, and I'm not a big DeSantis fan. I'm more of a Republican conservative, but I don't like him because he let the nonviolent offenders die in prison during COVID. Other governors were letting guys like me out, nonviolent guys, to try to keep us alive. But he wouldn't do it, and so a lot of people passed away. I don't understand the objective of putting people in prison. Why not examine a program that works like Changing Lives and expand it?
Absolutely.
Right.
Why not expand it? And you know what? If you own property in a town where there's a lot of homeless, you do realize that getting them off the street holds down crime, prostitution, and all kinds of other problems. And guess what? It increases property values.
Right.
So there may be benefit all around, considering he's the biggest real estate holder here in this town. It absolutely benefits him, but he's also a man of God. I've seen him praying. I've seen him in church. He's been consistently doing this for, what, at least 10 years? Is it the 10-year anniversary?
Yeah, close.
Yep, so the gala's coming up. Big shout out to James Batmasian Investments Limited in Boca Raton. If you need real estate, commercial real estate, look him up. You want to relocate to Florida, look him up. He's got tons of, you know, people working in his office that'll help him out. There you go. You cut?
Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to end up with that. We got the big question for you. Dr. Rod, you're a man of faith, man with a compassionate heart, support of your family. You've been blessed with a good career financially. Let me ask you this. If the good Lord were to take you home today, how do you want your family, your loved ones, the society to know you? How do you want to be remembered?
Wow, that's a big question there.
Tears are okay.
Yeah, I think, you know, just somebody that listened and, you know, willing to open up their wallet when they, you know, feel, you know, moved to, and yeah, just, you know, and again, I'm no angel. I've got, you know, my issues, whatever, and I'm not trying to be a, you know, choir boy or anything else, but just somebody that cared about people and, you know, just didn't talk the talk, but tried to walk the walk.
There you have it. Another phenomenal interview under Steele Media, Steele Spotlight Television, and William Steele True Crime, The Crime of Homelessness, and an interview with Dr. Rod, rheumatologist from Central Florida.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
That
thank you
was
for
like a
joining us,
great,
sir. God bless.
Wonderful interview. Thank you.